Hello and welcome to the earnings webinar. Thank you all for attending. So we'll go through the agenda in a minute. First, we need to go through the disclosure. So please take a moment to read that. We are not financial advisors. We are not licensed. So we do not give out recommendations. We do give out information, and whether you make trades or not is, up to you. So, all right. So the agenda for this webinar, we're going to do a quick kind of earnings overview. And then we're going to go through each of the 8 earnings strategies. So I'll be presenting the first 4, and then Shawn, our other trading strategists, will be going through the other 4, and then we're going to go and show you the earnings plan. There's 2 documents, and in the system, there's a big screen that we can track every trade to make it easier to follow along with those. So, and then we'll have question and answer at the end. After each one of these sections, we'll do a quick, stop for any questions. So, so you don't have to hold them all for the end, but as we go through each one of these strategies, we'll open up for questions. So, just real quick about Delphian. It was founded by Ashok Yarlagadda. He's a computer science engineer, really smart individual. So, we've been public about, out there with live users since about 2014. Our mantra is basically, provide you the information, and, we continuously try and improve the product so that it becomes more and more usable and useful to the traders out there. This is me. I was a financial advisor previously, no longer. So I worked at Merrill Lynch and Wells Fargo. I've been trading for well over 15 years with stocks and over 10 years with options. You can see my degrees down there. And I was previously a naval officer before I got into my second career here as in the trading world. So, and our other strategist, Shawn Glover, he managed a trade desk with futures, commodities for over 10 years. He's very knowledgeable. He loves earnings trades. So, this is his bread and butter, especially like the volatility crush and things like that. So, so that's us too. It's kind of a quick earnings overview. So, why do we want to trade earnings? These are singular events that have certain properties as far as like stock price movement, options volatility, and things like that. That if we do the proper setups, can be very profitable as far as trading. So we have 8 different strategies, and they're kind of graphically represented here. So the bullish pre-runner. So this is going up into the earnings announcement, and we're basically buying at a certain point beforehand, and then we're selling before the actual earnings announcement. And there's going to be candidates that generally run up in stock price prior to their earnings. And the same thing with the bearish, people are getting out of the stock before their earnings. So we can, build trades to profit from that in fairly short periods. As far as the actual earnings day, we have movers, ones that move big amounts, and we can do trades, based off of that. And then we have non-movers, so ones that barely move, So we have different types of trades for that. And then after the earnings announcement, some stocks, just no matter which way they went as far as their earnings, will run up after the announcement. And then we have ones that'll run down after the announcement. So we'll go through all those candidates. The other types of trades, there's two more, and they're specific to volatility. So we know that as like a stock like Facebook, as an anticipation and the days count down towards that earnings announcement, we know that the volatility in the options are going to pick up going up into that earnings announcement. So that'll build all the way up until the earnings release, and then after that the move is made and the volatility crushes out of that. Pretty much almost immediately right after the earnings come out. So we have two types of trades that we can do for those specific scenarios. So the good thing about earnings is we can do back testing to see which candidates have performed well. Obviously that's no guarantee that they're going to perform the same as they did before, but what we found is it's mostly the case that if a bullish pre-runner is won 90% of the time, the last 10 it usually does kind of follows that pattern. If we did, let's just talk about bullish pre-runners. If we did 40, like 25 trades, we usually are winning over 80% of those each quarter. So these are all repeatable. Some are more complex trades. Some are very simple, but it's repeatable over each quarter. So 4 times a year you have bullish pre-runners, you have vol crush, non-movers, and a lot of the candidates repeat each quarter. But we go through and we'll show you how we find every single, what we call high probability trades that are out there. So I just like the graphic. It, kind of gives you a nice representation of, the 8 different things that we'll be looking at here. So before we get into the specifics for each one, I did want to go through and show you the available resources that we have at Delphian. So first off, we have our website. Let me see here. So our website, delphiantrading.com. So we have, in case you haven't been here, under like the resources tab, we have this high probability earnings trades. So under there, we have all the different strategies. So you can click on each one. It gives you a nice explanation of the theory, an example, how the back test. And so that's available, for anyone as they need to go back to that, our YouTube channel. So we have lots of videos on here, and we also put all our previous webinars, and we started, we have a weekly meeting that we do every Wednesday. So obviously today we're doing the webinar instead of that meeting, but each week we meet with, all our customers and go through, and we give them trade ideas and things like that. So those replays are here. And then, this webinar will be posted, within a few days, but so you have that also. Online help guide. So within the system, if you're a member, it's basically this question mark, and you can access it even if, you're not a customer, and you can go through and look through all the help content there. So in addition to that, we have the Google Share Drive. So, and that's, the other thing before I jump to that, Shawn and I are available all the time. So, and I'll post this in the Share Drive, all these PowerPoints so that you guys can get them. And I'll do this so you guys can access it now. I'll put it into the chat so everyone can jump in there. Okay, so the share drive. Now we have sharing capability within the platform. I just kind of made this so it's kind of easy for people. So this is all of our analysis that we did for each strategy. And so you'll be able to download these. You can play with them. I'll go through specifically how we did this process, but that is there for you. And feel free to modify as you see fit on those. Yeah, so the one thing before, we do have a 30-day trial. It's only $10. So on the website, when you go to the individual investor, you can subscribe here. It's $10 to try it out. You can you have access to me and Shawn, and you can do the meetings. I would just, if you can't copy the link, I think if you just click on it, it'll open it up. You don't have to copy it. So that's a question in there. Okay, so any questions about that before we get started here on the strategies? I'll just raise your hand, or chat it. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. So first up, we'll do the bullish pre-runners. So